growth, it isn't comfortable. It stretches you, it challenges you, and often it breaks you, but before long, it builds you. Staying stuck, it robs you. And that's the kind of robbery that robs you of your potential. So why choose that? What kind of life is that to live? Ask yourself that. Ain't nothing wrong with you. Just remember you're special. Feeling hopeless and alone, just remember there's always God there to be there to help you. Put in effort, make mistakes. No one on this earth is perfect. Trial and tribulations both in life are guaranteed, but in the end it's all worth it. I'm hoping and I'm praying. This is something relatable and the words are beneficial when someone out there can understand what I'm saying. Mind, muscle, motivation. Let's stop playing. Share it with the nation. What it do though? Y'all know what time it is. Mind, muscle, spirit, motivation. Let's get into it. We're talking about growing. We're talking about being stuck and staying stuck. We get to decide which one we want to live. We get to decide which one that we choose to stick with. Nobody likes discomfort. And what I've noticed these last few months, these last few weeks, I'm not one that welcomes change. I don't like it. And I know I'm not the only one. I don't like change, even if it's a good change, because it's unknown. And I don't like change because change in and of itself for me is a challenge because I have to adapt and I have to evolve. And, when I look around, I'm able to do it, but I don't welcome it. See, a lot of us, we can adapt and we can evolve and we can take on challenges. We just choose to not go down that route, even if we know that is going to be for the better of good. You see, staying with someone, whether it's a relationship or just a friend that we know are doing things that benefit us in no shape, fashion, or form, not having them in our lives is something that, we don't want to see what that's like because we're used to having them there. We're used to having them there. Let me say it one more time, but slowly. We're used to having them there. Why have somebody there in our lives that's not giving us anything that's going to help us grow and get better? And the same vice versa. Don't just have somebody in your life because you're used to being in their life. It's funny that it's ironic that I'm talking about this because I'm one that wants to improve, grow, and get better. And I've been doing things in my life and I'm like, what in the hell is this about? I think it's funny. A lot of it's funny because when I've said it before, but when we have discomfort and when we have change, we're stuck in our feelings and emotions, and we don't know whether or not if it's benefiting us. We don't know whether or not if it's building us. Because when you're in your feelings, as I said before, if it's not good, whatever that comes with it is completely bad. And you can't tell us otherwise. And I say us because this is something that, I've struggled with. But we're not able to open our eyes and realize that change and discomfort, that has to happen for us to not become stuck in life, to not just go through life on autopilot, just doing things, just having things. You see, if you choose to just stay where you're at, how can you possibly be aware of the potential that you can bring to other people's lives and yours? It's like, I'll use this as an example, but it's like having an apartment. You have all the money to have a house, but you're smart, you did your research, and you know that comes with having a house. You have to cut the grass. You have to have insurance. And those are just a few things. But when you have an apartment, you ain't got to do Nathaniel. You pay what you need to pay, and you ain't got to worry about nothing else. If something's broke, you get the person to come and fix it. Maybe the same day. I can't possibly relate to somebody who doesn't want to get better. That's what this channel stands for. Improvement, getting better, challenging yourself. And like I said, it's funny and ironic because that's what I'm about. That's what I stand for. And what I'm currently experiencing in life, I don't like. And I can laugh about it. You got to be careful what you pray for. I will say that. And you got to be careful what you aim for in life because, you know, the energy that you bring is going to be brought right back to you. And what I mean by that is that I stress about getting better. I stress about being my best self. And in order for that to happen, things that I don't like, they have to break me. They have to bend me. I'm talking all the way back. Like the people you see in the possession movies and the demonic movies. I'm talking all the way back. I'm not talking about Sierra barely. I'm talking about all the way back. And that's what I'm currently experiencing in life. But on the other end, I picture myself better equipped. Better equipped, not prepared. You can't prepare for everything. Yes, I use that word can't, but there's just no way. But being better equipped, that's what I'm currently experiencing each and every single day. And look, enough about the change that I'm experiencing, that, you know, AKA you. Never mind the change that you're experiencing. We have to be open-minded to the fact that other people are experiencing change because it's inevitable. And that change, well, with my mindset, I pray and I hope it's for the better. We have to be open-minded and we have to stop ourselves from being in our feelings for other people due to their change. See, when people walk out of your life, it could be due to change that they're experiencing in their own lives. And sometimes people are enduring growth that may not correlate and align with you. So what do? They may just go MIA. Some people may endure growth and it may hurt you. And this is something that, as I'm speaking it, is something that I'm now realizing it. So look, hurting someone may not always be the cause. Sorry about that. Hurting someone may not always be the cause of them leaving your life. They're going through a metamorphosis. So in order for that to happen, they have to estrange themselves from you. And who knows? Let me plug this thing up. But, you know, who knows? You know, maybe maybe as they, change and go through their life experiences, maybe in life, the two of you can reconnect, rekindle the friendship, the relationship, whatever it may be. But that's something that we also have to be open minded to. We always, we clap, we get hype when we're ready when we talk about growth when it comes to us. But there's other people that's also stuck too, and they have to get focused. And, maybe that friendship, it has to be pushed to the side. Maybe they're seeing you change, and maybe they're, a lot of times, this is what we do as people. We we like to compare our lives to other people. Sometimes it happens that we're, unaware of, and a lot of times it's just what we do. But for myself, I can see somebody becoming more mature. This is, when I'm in my younger days. Golly, I'm talking like I'm old, but this is when maybe in my early 20s. I'm talking about 20, 21. But I would see a lot of people my age that didn't act the way I acted. And I'm not saying I was completely immature, but I had my days. I had my moments. And I would see that, a friend of mine, he wasn't acting like that. So I'm just like, what am I doing? Do you not like me anymore? That's me being in my feelings. That's me just thinking about what was and how it isn't that anymore. People change. Some people don't like being the way that they were with you. And it may not have to do anything with you. And that's when I think about that, I think about the I think about the statement a lot of people use, it's not you, it's me. It's I would roll my eyes to it, but I do I do apologize for you know making statements about people like, oh, that's BS. They just don't want nothing to do with you. I don't think that's always the case. Sometimes it really is them and not you. And I ain't talking about just with relationships. I'm talking about friendships. I'm talking about everything. Sometimes a repeated cycle gets broken when people open up their eyes and want to change their life. Because that's the journey I'm currently on. And if you do want to correlate that with relationships, people grow apart and people want more out of their lives. They want more from their significant other. And when they don't get it, it's not always having to cheat. It's not even always found in another person. Sometimes what they want from another person, they can give to themselves. And realizing that and knowing that you have to realize that you're stuck and you have to grow by taking a different route. And that's why I think about how we as people, we're not always on the same journey. That's what I think about when I'm talking about this the subject of being stuck and growing. That's why it hurts. That's why that's why becoming unstuck and growing, that's why it hurts. Because we aren't all on the same journey in life. And when people come into your life, it literally is for different reasons in different seasons. And I used to want to protect myself and be like, I'm just not going to allow nobody to come into my life, relationships or friendships. I'm done with both. I'm just going to be me. I'm just going to stay stuck to myself. But that key word, stuck to myself. How can I possibly grow when I stay stuck in my own ways? How can I possibly grow when somebody that's in my life is also doing the same thing that I do? We both aren't able to open each other's eyes to our potential. That's why, I mean, literally, I'm thinking about this as I'm talking about it. That's why you may get a different character when you're with different people. That's why you may think that you need to be with somebody else, because your best self is pulled out from somebody else. That's not always the case, but that's why we have to be open-minded, and that's why we have to welcome different people in our lives. That's why we really shouldn't be judgmental. I'm serious. That's why we shouldn't be judgmental to people, because what you see in someone, what you think you see in someone, isn't always what you really see. Looks are absolutely deceiving. Absolutely. So again, growth, it's very uncomfortable, and it absolutely stretches you. It stretches you, it stretches your character, it stretches just what you know, because a lot of people know more than you. And I also see that a lot of people, they ain't trying to, they're not trying. A lot of people, they don't want to admit that somebody else knows more than them, because they're used to knowing the most. And why is that? Because they probably were exactly like me, being stuck to themselves. Again, stuck to themselves, not allowing other people to pull out different potentials that they have. I don't even know if that's a word, but different quality traits that they may have in them. And it's not you trying to be someone else. It's simply the fact that other people, they're exposed to more than you, and they bring it to you, and that brings something else out of you. Boy, I love this, man. I love this so much, because I'm making a video for somebody, but I think this is probably 60-40. It may be 40% for somebody else, but it's 60% for me. This is something that I need to re-listen. This is something that I gotta listen to. And I don't like to listen to myself speak, but again, even with this YouTube thing I got going on, I may not ever be monetized. I may not ever get any of that guap, you know what I'm saying, from YouTube, but it's growing me, and it's allowed me to see what kind of potential I may or may not have, and that I can learn. You know what I mean? That I can learn. And no, I don't have nobody else here with me. No, I don't have somebody, I'm asking for comments, but I'm not getting any. But maybe I don't need any. And what I mean by that is, in order for me to, you know, with what I'm saying, to not be stuck in my own ways, you would think that I would need some comments. But if this is a way, this is how I see it. If this is a way for God to bring my potential, if this is a way for God to bring my potential, and intentionally, not by mistake, but if this is God's way of doing it for me, instead of listening to other speakers, I would be able to listen to myself and be able to be like, okay, that's right. A lot of these videos, even when I listen to them now, I'm just like, wow. Whatever viral or trending subject that I thought I needed to talk about, I just talked about what I needed to hear, even from myself. So, hey, it's Mind, Muscle, Spirit, Motivation. Like, subscribe, share. Even if you don't, leave your comment. Let's see how we both can grow together forever. Until next time, we are out.